Hey guys, what's up? It's Ex-Morgan with My Spiritual Life, and today I'm talking about an experience I had recently with a medium or psychic, or I don't know if I know the right name for it. The person that can talk to dead people. That one. I've been really anxious about talking about this because it's a lot of personal stuff, and also I feel embarrassed. And I'll explain why. In order to understand this visit I had with this medium a couple weeks ago, I have to preface with the experience that I had with a medium a couple years ago. So here we go. 2 years ago from the right now that I'm recording this was fall of 2018, which was when I was knee-deep in my faith crisis. In that same fall, in October, one of my close friends suddenly died. And she was only 22, but she had cystic fibrosis. And even though we knew she wouldn't have like a normal lifespan, that living to, 80 years old like a lot of people do, it was still really unexpected, and it was really hard, and the fact that it came in the middle of my faith crisis was like insane. I didn't know how to cope with her death. Coping with death is hard enough when you're like solid on your belief system, but when you're in the middle of freaking out, it's so hard. A little while after she had passed away, I was and still am really close with her whole family. So I actually got invited by them to visit with a medium. And it was a really, really positive experience. It was like we called with the medium all on this group call, the family and me, and the medium just gave us an opportunity to reminisce about our memories with my friend, and to feel comfort and hope that, I don't know, just that things were going to be okay, that my friend was doing well on the other side, and it was overall like a really positive experience. And at the time, it gave me a lot of hope because I was feeling pretty hopeless. And here all of a sudden is this person who's connecting with deity and providing some answers, whereas I felt like I had none. And it was just nice because my immediate reaction after leaving Mormonism was pretty much very nihilistic, nothing matters. God is dead, and it was just, that was my immediate reaction because I was just so hurt. And I was like, well, if I could have all these spiritual experiences telling me that this church is true, and then that's not true, then I don't know if I can trust any spiritual experiences. So at the time that I had this experience, it really gave me a lot of hope and made me think, okay, maybe there is life after death. Maybe there's a lot of people rooting for us on the other side. And I just found that super comforting. It also made me hope that maybe this was somehow purposeful. It wasn't like she just died for no reason. Maybe there was some kind of plan, and this was all supposed to be in some kind of divine timing. I wanted to hold on to the belief that this wasn't just tragic and awful, and that I needed something to give me a spark of, it's okay. This is happening the way it's supposed to happen. I just wanted that so bad. So a couple weeks ago, I got invited by this same family to meet with that medium again. The same medium that I met with, I guess it was probably a year and a half ago now. And I had such a positive experience with it before, that I thought, oh, this would probably be really like, lifting my spirits. And especially because right now, with dealing with this pregnancy, which surprise, if you didn't watch my last video, pregnant, woo. Anyway, this pregnancy has been, for some reason, way harder on me than the last one. And so I thought I could really use a pick-me-up right now. Like, I'm having a really hard time. And so I was excited to meet with this medium again through this family that I, love and appreciate so much. And I just got to preface this, of course, with, like, I'm not trying to trash anyone in this story. I love all the people involved in this, which is why I'm trying to be kind of vague about it all. So sorry for the confusion, but the point of this story is getting to what happened and how it made me feel, because it's very related to my faith crisis. I go into this, and basically what ended up happening was, again, the medium gave a lot of positive advice and uplifting stuff at first, which was great. But then as I started to express, some of my personal issues that I was struggling with, then she kind of went on this tangent of like giving me a lot of advice. And this tangent of a lot of advice ended up being really triggering to me for a couple reasons. One, because that wasn't really why I was going there. I wasn't really going for advice. I was just going for, I guess, like maybe comfort and like some hope, like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. I don't know, something like that. The other thing that was really triggering to me was just realizing I'm so quick to give my authority away when I think someone has some kind of authority over me or knows better than me. So when she was giving this advice, the reason why this was especially triggering was because a lot of this specific advice that she gave me during this session, I'm not exactly sure what to call it, was advice that I did not like and that didn't work for me. It was advice that just would not work for me, and I knew for a fact that some of it would actually be harmful to me based on the way that my body works. I mean, she gave some advice like about eating and things like that, and things that I'm just like, okay, some of this is just like, obviously, like if you knew me, you would know this advice would not work for me. I realized I was in turmoil after the call was over, because even though I was seeing that rationally some of this advice she was giving was not advice that I wanted or advice that would work for me, it was triggering a ton of guilt and confusion, because here I am, like, thinking that I am in control of myself, and the minute someone claims to know better than me, then I'm wanting to throw my authority away. I'm wanting to give power to this other person and assume that they know better. And then I was getting upset with myself and getting frustrated over the entire situation and crying to Jared about it. Luckily, Jared is very sweet and patient with me. And he was very understanding of the situation. Because what I'm realizing here is my brain is very wired to want to trust authority. And authority, as I've been taught it, was like people who had some divine power, like in the Mormon church, it was like people who had the priesthood and your leadership in the church. And it was like, I realized after I left Mormonism that I didn't have any hero to leave on the pedestal. So I put this medium there because she was the one that gave me hope. And so after this session, in my mind, didn't go very well. And again, this is just my perspective, but I felt so sad. I felt so disappointed and so hurt, because I felt like, did anything she say ever come from the other side, or was this all just things she was saying? Now, I know you guys are all going to try to answer this in the comments, so let me just say, it's okay. You don't have to answer it for me, because I don't know. This is me just this is just part of the journey. And I feel like a lot of you are going to relate with it, because when you have all the answers and then you don't, that void hurts. And you want to fill that void with something. And the hard thing is sometimes you try to fill the void with stuff and it doesn't work. And this is what happened. And in this situation, I realized I had to take her off the pedestal and remind myself that I'm the one that makes decisions for me. That just because she's saying something's going to happen a certain way that it is, like, that doesn't mean that it's true. I have the ability to choose, and I'm going to do that. It was a crazy moment, because it was in part, it was really painful, because it was like I had to let go of this thing that was giving me a connection to purpose and hope. But in doing so, I trusted myself again, like on a deeper level, like deeper than what it was. It's already been a lot of self-trust, because leaving Mormonism, I had to trust myself quite a lot. It forced me to, because I couldn't lean on what everyone else was thinking about me or saying about me anymore. Anyway, the point is, this reminded me so much of what it felt like when my shelf came crashing down. It is just, it's so bittersweet. I realized from this experience that my brain is just so wired to want someone to have the right answer for me. And I'm so quick to want to trust someone else to have the right answer that I'm ready to throw out what I know actually is right for me based on someone who I think probably has the right answer. Because I would think that someone connecting with the dead would know better than me. At least that's how I felt. And that's why I was in so much turmoil after talking with her, because I didn't like her advice. I didn't want to follow the specific advice she gave me, but I felt like I was supposed to, or like I had to, like I didn't have a choice, because she obviously knows what's best. Again, and this is so reflective of exactly how I felt as a Mormon, because, you get your patriarchal blessing, or like a regular blessing, which comes, for those who don't know, it comes from like a male leader in your church, and it's like a special prayer, but it also like is supposed to tell you kind of what's going to happen or what you're supposed to do. And what I learned from that was that it can really easily be skewed by someone's opinion. Obviously, I didn't think that when I was Mormon, but later, looking back, I realized it could be, obviously. But anyway, but I realized like it reminded me of that same dynamic that I was running on. Like, oh, this person knows better than me, so I'm just going to defer to whatever they say in this blessing or this prayer or whatever, because obviously they know better than me. It was a twofold sword, double-edged sword or whatever you want to call it, because it's comfortable to give your decision-making powers away at times, because then you don't have to be the one that screws up. It can be someone else. But you assume that they're not going to screw up because you think they know the right answer. Anyway, moral of the story is, this has been a very emotional roller coaster for me, and it's hard. But I am proud of myself for how I handled this, because I noticed very quickly what was happening. It was the same dynamic I was running on. My brain wanted someone to be right, and so I quickly corrected it. And like I said, I took my power back, and again reminded myself that this is my life, and I'm going to choose what happens. And I don't think there's anything wrong with getting advice from people, but you have to be willing to make the decision for yourself. And I think that's a problem that we run into a lot, like as people pleasers, or people who are taught not to trust themselves, is that we are so afraid of making the wrong decision that we are constantly looking for someone to put on a pedestal and trust everything that they're saying. At least that's how it's been for me. But I've been improving. I caught this like the day it happened, so that was good. But it was painful dealing with the emotional just disappointment, and just like, did anything she say mean anything, or did I just make it mean things, just like I made Mormonism mean things? And So I guess where I'm at with this right now is I'm just trying to remind myself to trust me, because this is my life. I have to make decisions for it. I have to pay the consequences for it, so I better be the one making decisions. And it's okay to be sad and confused, and that's where we're at right now. I wanted to document this because I know I have come a long way, and I also know that I'm still, in many ways, looking for the answers from someone else. A faith crisis or a faith transition is just filled with lots of ups and downs. I guess the biggest gift that comes out of this really is learning to trust yourself and make decisions your own. And I think there's a lot of positive benefits that come from really owning what you do with your life. Otherwise, you're going to be full of regret. And like if you're not happy with the way things turned out, you're going to be full of regret, and it's going to be all placed on someone else, whoever you let make decisions for you. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to this. I know it's kind of an emotional roller coaster, and I don't know that I effectively conveyed everything that I wanted to, but this is my spiritual life, and it's not perfect. I'm just trying to be me. I'm trying to trust me no matter what happens. So even though this kind of knocked me off my rocker for a bit, is that an expression? I don't know. I make up expressions a lot. Sometimes I don't know if it's a real expression. Even though this threw me off my groove for a bit, I am feeling more empowered now that I have reminded myself that I'm the one in charge of my life, and that's okay. And even though it's scary because I don't know what the answers are, I don't know if God is there or not. I like to believe in God, but I don't know. Even though I don't know, it's okay. That's where things are at. So, thank you guys for watching. Please comment down below whatever you want, just something. Some kind of feedback would be great. And huge thank you to our Patreon supporters who we could not do this channel without. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, please click the link below. You'll get access to getting shout outs in our videos, your name in the credits, other cool perks like our exclusive content that we have on Patreon. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, do that because it's awesome. Our Patreons are the best. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.